Hello and welcome back to Grim Survival. I forgot my selfie stick, so this is probably a close-up. I'm just going to show you what I'm looking at today. I am standing in, here I'll turn the camera around for you. I hope you can still hear me. I'm standing in what is known as mud. Look at this. I can put my finger in it. It's mud. And this is a soybean field. If you can still hear me, if not, I'll overlay this. I am near a family member's house. I'm actually on the east side of Indianapolis. This is soybeans. I'm not an expert in soybeans, but I'm pretty sure they're not supposed to be that color. So this is a whole field full of soybean, and it is wet. Look at this. This right here, sorry about that, this is moss. Anybody who knows anything about moss knows that it only grows in cool, damp conditions. I am in a soybean field that is covered in moss. It is so wet out here that you could not get a tractor out here if you wanted to. So, have a look at a close-up of soybeans. I will not touch it because it's not mine. But yeah, these are very small, very small. It's literally about ankle high throughout the most part of it. Some of it didn't even sprout very well. Alright, here we're going to take a close-up look at some of the soy. This is the same field. And just a disclaimer, I am not a farmer. I have never grown soy. I have grown corn several times in my life, but never soy. So, you know, if any farmer can chime in on this and tell me what I'm looking at here, I would be very grateful. But from my point of view, as dark as this is looking, and sorry for the out of focus video here and some of the close-ups, but it was a work in progress. So anyway, just as dark as some of the soy is that I'm seeing here, it just doesn't look normal to me. It doesn't look like it should be. Now, again, I'm not a farmer, so I don't know how it's supposed to look. So, you know, chime in if I'm wrong, but to me, it looks like it's already starting to rot. Now, as you just seen there in part of the video, some of this soy never even matured far enough. It's still green, and there's patches of it throughout this field. Now, I couldn't walk throughout the whole field, but, you know, for obvious reasons. But yeah, it just looks to me like some of it didn't mature, and it's not going to at this point because it's just how cold it is. Plants are no longer growing. This is a radar loop from October 26, 2019, as Tropical Storm Olga came up through the Gulf into the Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Michigan areas, including Ohio, of course, Kentucky. It hit basically the eastern part of the Farm Belt, Indiana included, and I was here to witness this firsthand. Heavy rain. So let's take a look quickly at the rainfall totals. As you can see, Illinois got the worst of it. Illinois has, in some spots, I would call that around 3 inches. As you push farther north, we're in the 1 to 2 inch ranges, with localized spots, the 2.5 to 3 inches still here. And these are areas I actually drive pretty close to, so I will probably have some videos of flooding up sometime this week. Indiana, we're looking much of the same. The southwestern parts of the state, 2 inches. Some localized areas look like about 3. South of Indianapolis, we're looking at about 3. But for the most part, 1 to 2 inches, maybe a little less up here, closer to Lake Michigan. Let's take a quick look at an article posted 10/21. This was last week. It says harvest continued at a slow pace across much of the Corn Belt over the last week. Now, we talked about the corn harvest in my last video, so we're going to stick with the soybean theme this time. Soybean progress also lags behind the national 5-year average pace. Nationally, soybeans are at 46% harvested, compared with an average pace of 64%, so almost 20% behind average. Let's look over here at Indiana. Indiana has harvested 53% so far this year. Last year at 65% by this time, with a 5-year average of 62%. So almost 10% behind in just Indiana. And as you can see from, if you remember the last video, everything in red is below average, everything in green is above average. The problem is everything in red is mostly the Farm Belt. Here we're taking a look at AccuWeather. As you can see, this was updated October 27th, 2019 at 5:07 p.m. That is today. At the time of recording this video, that was about an hour ago. Now this is talking about cold weather moving across the Midwest and the Farm Belt. It says little to no accumulation is expected across these areas as snow showers look to remain light at the start of the week. But let's look up here really quick. Snow will spread from Colorado into northern Kansas throughout the day on Monday, and then into southern Nebraska and western Iowa later in the afternoon. Now, as it says, the snow is not expected to accumulate much, but then you have to consider the temperatures. For snow to fall, we have to have freezing temperatures. So let's take a look over here real quick at Nebraska's corn harvest. This year, so far, 30% of our country has harvested the corn, or only 30% of the corn has been harvested. Sorry for my confusion in talking. One day I'll learn how. All right, Nebraska, 30% has been harvested in Nebraska. Last year, they didn't do too much better. 5-year average, 35%. So they're about 5% behind the 5-year average in Nebraska. So, only 30% of Nebraska has been harvested. We're taking a look at Twitter now. This is the NoHarvest19 hashtag. You can look it up easily on Google. If you type in hashtag NoHarvest19, this will probably come up. We got to feel sorry here for Matthew, because Matthew has been posting a lot of pictures throughout the season and the harvest season, and none of them are good. As you can see, you can see the water here in the pictures, and just read what he says, that his tractors are sinking. And here's some more pictures that he posted October 26th, which was Saturday, and he's checking his beet fields here, and look at it, it's sinking. He's sinking 4 to 5 inches from what he says in his fields. Last, I just want to talk about the California wildfires that have been going on. This is from AccuWeather. This was updated today, October 27th, 2019. California has declared a state of emergency as mass power outages and evacuations continue. Here you can see in the video at least 50,000 people are told to leave their homes in California. The governor has declared a state of an emergency. If you check out Ice Age Farmer's channel, he has a lot more information on this than I do. I'm only showing you the one article. This is the big one called Kincaid, or the most recent, I guess is how you could put it, but this is the Kincaid fire. At least 30,000 acres burned at the time of this picture. 10% contained, which, if you have any knowledge of fire containment, 10% contained means roughly out of control. It is burning out of control. Over 50,000 people are already told to leave their homes. I know we like to make a lot of jokes about California. A lot of the prepping community and the survivalist community make jokes about California, communist country, and this and that, and anti-Second Amendment and gun laws and this and that, but we would not wish this upon anyone. This is catastrophic for the people that live in this area. I ask you to pray for these people because they are in dire need of help. All right, I'm going to overlay the walk out of the soybean field as I talk here. And like I said, if any farmer could chime in, tell me, is the soy actually rotting or not? I probably could tell if I was to touch it and mess with it and open it and look at it, but I'm not going to do that because it's not my field, and that would be, well, theft and destruction of someone else's property. I was not trespassing in this video. I had permission to walk through there, and we'll leave it at that. So, yeah, I don't know. But what's going to happen to that soy, even if it's not rotting? What will happen to it after the hard freeze that we're expecting to get later this week? The weather reports for just this area that the area that I was in when I was walking through the field said that we're expecting well below freezing temperatures by Friday, and I believe the temperatures were dropping into the upper 20s, lower 30s, and they were intending to be that way. I think the highs were in the 40s. Don't quote me on that. I'll have to check the weather again. But yeah, what's going to happen to these fields after a hard freeze? Is it even going to be usable? I'm thinking no. That's my thoughts on it. But like I said, I'm not a farmer. Don't quote me on it. Don't take my word for it. Do some research and just, do the research. That's all I can say. All right, California, 50,000 people told to evacuate. 50,000 people. The power outages, and I believe the power company that had been shutting off the the power. If you've watched Ice Age Farmer, the power company has been shutting off power to, last time it was over 2 million people. I don't remember the duration. It was over a week, I believe. Don't quote me on that one either, because I don't remember right offhand. But they were shutting it off to prevent wildfires. That was the whole reason they said they did it. They shut it off to prevent wildfires, and they actually have taken credit for the current Kincaid fire that has just sparked and started up, and it's already burned over 30,000 acres. So I just got to pose a question. This is a survival channel, so could you survive a wildfire? Could you evacuate your home? What would you take with you if you did have to evacuate your home? Do you have a bug out location? Is your bug out location stocked? Do you have food, water preps? Do you have the ability to sustain yourself prolonged there? If you lost everything, could you make a home at your bug out location? Could you grow crops there? Do you have a seed storage at your bug out location? What would you take if you left? I know what I would take, and what I've been trying to get, and current situations put a little damper on it, but what I've been trying to do is acquire a small box trailer to pull behind one of my SUVs, and to keep a dried goods store in the actual trailer, to make it basically a bug out trailer. It would be good for storage for, you know, buckets of rice and beans and things like that, dried goods that probably will not be damaged by excessive cold or heat. As a matter of fact, rice, they tell you should freeze it before you store it in your buckets anyway, because of rice weebles, and you can look into that, and I will leave it there. Hey, extra protein in your diet, right? And you know, a trailer would probably be the best bet for me in the area I live in. And if it's a really bad disaster and the roads are blocked and things like that, of course I'm not going to be able to take the trailer with me, but you know, I could get it as far as I can get it and maybe come back for it later if possible. Alright, and that's going to be enough for me. This was not the video I was intending to make this weekend. The one I was intending to make will probably come up next weekend, hopefully. Had a little bit of issues with my camera recording, but happy to say that I have found a decent camera on eBay. It is used. Thank you for all the donations and help that you have given me in acquiring this. I am $30 shy, and I will have this camera hopefully by the end of the week. So that should improve some of my video quality. Well, at least the ability to promptly make videos. Sometimes I am driving through an area and I'm on my phone talking, and I cannot just, you know, hang up on the person rudely and say, I got to record this. So it would definitely be beneficial to me to have the second camera, and I will have it more than likely by the end of the week. It is eBay, so shipping on that's kind of iffy, so we'll hopefully by the end of the week. But like I said, that's all from me. I wasn't planning on making this video, but here it is. I hope you guys enjoy. Please like, subscribe, share the video, spread the word. We all have to spread the word. Check out Ice Age Farmer's video on the fires. We need to pray for California. We really do. Hey, this is Grim Survival. Remember, it is grim out there, and you're not going to live forever. So, hey.